I sit there in my dinosaur pajamas holding a book about blocks and shapes. I wonder where my life will go. All kidding aside, there I am as a little baby, a little lad. And I was born on January 15th, 2001. I grew up in a big family. We're going to show that right here. This is my mom. This is her and I as I fall asleep at Disney World. Of course, luckily, as they push around the stroller with me in it. I was always a energetic kid, but obviously this does not show that. But I've always wanted to be, as my parents said, hanging out with the big kids, my older siblings. But I got this opportunity to change my perspective when my little brother came into the world. It was an exciting day at the time, looking back on it. A little upset by it, but that's all good. He was born on November 1st, 2003, and now we're actually really close now. But this is 3 days after he was born. He was in the hospital for a couple of days, so that's why it took a while to come home. And this is our first family photo, all of us together. From left to right, that is my older brother David, my oldest sibling Allison, and she's holding my youngest brother Josh. My dad is holding me, and that's my mom, and that's my oldest brother, Dan. So, fast forward to my first day of elementary school. I went to Prospect Mill Elementary School, where my grandfather was the first principal there. And my oldest brother, Dan, was in 5th grade, and my older brother, David, was in 3rd grade. And those are just some of our neighborhood friends waiting at the bus stop. So in 2007, my family and I took a trip to Europe to see my uncle and my aunt because he was in Europe when he was working for NATO. And he lived in Brussels, and we went around Europe, and this is me at the Roman Wall. And I'm a social science major, so I just think that was a pretty cool thing to include there. So, on to my awkward middle school years. I was on the Bel Air Blue Devils soccer team, and I had just this so cool hair. My hair was so cool. It looks awful. I don't know why my mom let me get it cut like that. But my little brother's next to me, along with David, my older brother, and they played for the Forest Hill Force. And soccer and sports have always been a really big part of my life. My parents really pushed us to be active in all of our sports, and so we played year-round. So this next picture is me at the infamous John Wilkes Booth House. He is the person who assassinated Abe Lincoln, and his house is at the very end of my street. Well, you know, the guy kind of sucks, but the history part about it is pretty interesting. I've always lived right next to it, and seeing that he's the most infamous person to come out of Maryland, I just think it's kind of a interesting fact and tidbit. So this is where I grew up. This is my backyard, and those are 2 barns and my truck right there. And having a lot of this space really kind of shaped me to who I am, with loving the outdoors and always wanting to do stuff outside, working with my hands. And my dad and I mostly are the ones who take care of our land, and we do a lot of stuff back here. We have our wood pile, we have golf holes, a baseball field, and a bunch of fire pits. So next up is our family trip to California. My cousin was ordained a priest in California, and our whole family just decided to make a trip out of it. And this is us at Yosemite National Park in front of El Capitan. And my family's a really big national park family. We love going to all national parks we can. We are going to Yellowstone this summer, and I'm really excited about that. But again, that from left to right, that's me, my youngest brother Josh, David, Allison, and then Dan. We don't really look too much alike, but most of the time for the guys, they can see it in our eyebrows because we all have pretty big eyebrows. But yeah, moving on next, we have me on the soccer team in high school. We went to states for the second year in a row, and won for the second year in a row. And I went to Sea Mountain Wright High School, and these are just some of my close friends that were on the team. And I've known them and grew up, played soccer with them for years. And it was just kind of really cool knowing all the guys for such a long time and being able to share that moment with them. So next is the day I graduated high school. A young stud makes his way out into his college. And I started off at Hartford Community College. Going into college, I knew I wanted to go into education. And I knew I was going to go from Hartford Community to Towson and follow in my mom's footsteps because she is also a teacher. And she's a paraeducator now at John Archer School. So I spent actually 1 year at Hartford Community and realized that just was not for me. And that made me change over to Towson University. And here I am now. So this next picture is my family and I when we went to Colorado. And we had, this was our first day in Colorado, and we went on this trail right next to Boulder, University of Boulder, because we were going to see the Grateful Dead, which they were called Dead and Company, right after this hike. And I just remember this hike very vividly, and I had just had a great time. And now we're going to be moving on to my work phase. I first started working and holding a job when I was a sophomore in high school. I worked at the Arena Club, which is a large gym facility, and I worked in the daycare and events department. I took care of kids while their parents worked out, and that would include taking them down to the trampoline park, playing basketball, or going to the pool. After that, I worked in contracting. I was an assistant contractor in this company called First Impressions. And I usually do that over the summer. It's a lot of hard work, but I really like it. And I learned a lot from doing it, and I still do it to this day from time to time. This picture is when I worked at a Home Depot. I worked as a lumber associate as well as a deliveries associate. So I've worked a lot with our lumber products as well as doing online orders when I was in the deliveries team. I actually had lots of fun there, and I try and go back whenever I can in the summer. But now I currently work at the Country Club of Maryland as a server, and I just started actually last week, but I really like it so far. So this is my pride and joy, my dog. She is my best friend easily. She talks to me sometimes, but she doesn't really talk to anybody else, so that's all good. But this is her and I kayaking on Deer Creek, which is kind of east of Hartford County. Not really east, it kind of cuts through the middle. But this is the east part where it leads into the Susquehanna River. And my dog and I, she really likes she loves hikes, and she likes going on the kayak. She usually ends up jumping in the water. But I was fishing, so I wasn't letting her in. Moving on, this next picture is my brothers and my dad and I at a bluegrass festival in Virginia. This festival is called Delfest Light, and I had so much fun at it. It was at a brewery, and it's just something that my siblings, my brothers and my dad and I all have in common. We all really like bluegrass, and it's just a lot of fun going out there and hanging out with everybody, and it's just really cool that we have something like that in common. So this is a picture of my family at the Grand Canyon. We went this past summer, and it was an incredible time. I 100% recommend it. It is a very challenging hike because the first part you're going straight downhill, but the second part, the only way to get back is go straight up. But this is on the way down, so we had all smiling faces, and it was just an incredible view the whole way down. It's just not something you can look away at. This next picture is the latest picture I have of myself, and I'm at a wedding, having a grand old time, a hoot and holler, some would say. But this has just led me through this college, my life, and this is where I am brought today. And I'm very thankful for the life that I've lived, and I love my family, I love my friends, and I try and live my life like I don't want to have any regrets in it, That's just the way I think we all should live our lives, just happy and healthy as much as we can, especially during this time. And this picture I wanted to end off of, this is me and a 2-month-old bison. It was found at this bison ranch, and they didn't know where its parents were. They believed that it either, was ran off somehow or got hit by a car, but her name was, this bison's name is Bonnie, and Bonnie was just kind of walking around the little visitor center that they had there at the log cabins, and I just thought it was so cool. So, yeah. Thank you for listening to my story. So, thank you.